big garb on right here with Steve, honoring Steve Morris, who's our keynote today. Welcome everyone to our 2019 Digital Institute. This is our third year running this. We have some exciting sessions for you today. Thank you for taking the time out of your summer, right? It's summer now. This is a professional development opportunity for you, specifically around instructional technology. So I want to make the link for you. Our guide for instructional direction gives us our 4 steps to realizing our purpose, and that is for student well-being and student learning for all, every student, every day. Right? What? Yes. Okay. I've got some. It's not quite summer break for me yet, so I haven't been clapping as much. So anyway, if you look at that step 2 in the guide, the idea of best first instruction, and we know that we're on that continuum from teacher-centered to student-centered, and I applaud each of you, all of you, for that work that you're doing, and you can definitely see evidence of it in the classroom. And same thing on that same area down below where you look at that SAMR model, and technology is being used and integrating into our instruction for the pedagogy to strengthen, the work to deepen the learning, and the idea of really leveraging critical thinking, the creativity, all that communication through the use of technology. So we're strengthening it by being here. I love the enthusiasm in the room. I want you to know that our district priorities, as the board developed them this year, every one of them had some kind of relationship to technology and how we use that to leverage the success and target outcomes for our kids in both learning and well-being. So let's have the best day ever, the best event, and enjoy, engage, and build community. Thank you. Now to introduce our keynote speaker. I'm wearing him right here. Steve Morris. He's retiring this year with 29 years of service. He's hiding right here. 29 years of service for our students, parents, and teachers. He started his career in elementary in both primary and upper. And he also taught middle school math for 16 years. Recently, he joined Innovation and Learner Engagement Division as a teacher on special assignment. He has a passion for helping others feel comfortable with integrating technology into their classroom. At this point, he loves using humor to ease teachers' fear of educational technology, and I personally cannot wait to hear some of his good jokes. Ready? Steve Morris, here you go.
There we go. Oh, hey, can you amen? Thank you. Okay, I was going to introduce myself, but Lynn, you did an incredible job. You did much better than I would have. I would have just said, I'm Steve. But we do have a couple VIP guests with us here today. One you already saw, Lynn Carmen Day. We also have Dr. Jackie Perez, who's Assistant Superintendent of Instructional Support and my boss. And then we also have one very important VIP. That's my wife right here up in the front. No matter what happens today, when I get home, she'll say, babe, you did awesome. Yeah, so I got that going. Before we start, I was told I had to add a disclaimer at the beginning of my talk. So here it is. Okay, there will be no references to KFC, Colonel Sanders, chicken, cats, getting denied a cat adoption, or retirement during the course of this keynote. And also, humor will be used sparingly. So I know, so I came prepared. So if you have a comment to that disclaimer, and just write it on a piece of paper, and let's see. Oh yeah, I got a bucket right here. You can put your comments in. So I'll just leave that right up here. Okay. Well, before we can even start talking about technology and the fear of it, we need to realize that we're all one team because technology has no boundaries. It works just as well in a math class as it does in an ELA class or any other content area. It works across all grade levels and school sites, and because of that, it makes all of us here one team. And like all teams, we have people at all skill levels. We have those guys that are killing it with integration of technology in their classroom, to those who are apprehensive about bringing technology into their classroom. So as a team, it's everybody's duty to help make sure the team achieves success. So with that team concept in mind, let's get started. Okay, so for a team, we need a game plan. Okay? So first, we need to know who our opponent is. And once we do that, we need to know what are the characteristics of that opponent so that we can beat them. Next, we need to build up the newest members of our team with skills that will help them overcome and achieve. And lastly, the veterans on the team need to reach out to help mentor the newest team members. Okay, let me say that again. So we need to know who our opponent is. We need to know characteristics about that opponent that will help us take advantage of them. We need to help our newest members overcome that fear of technology. And then we also, as veterans, which I'm assuming is going to be a lot of you that are in this auditorium already, and we need together to help the newest members of our team. So, fears. Okay, we all have them. Okay, Webster defines fear as unpleasant feeling triggered by the perception of danger, either real or imagined. So whether it's real or not, whether it's in the educational setting or in everyday life, we all have something that holds us back from being successful and having greatness. Today, we're going to look at how we as a team can defeat fear. So before we start, I kind of wanted to check and get a feel for the types of fear that we have in this auditorium today. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show a slide. There will be a picture on it. I will tell you what that fear is, and then what I want you to do is clap if that's one of your fears. Okay? I know some of you are already embarrassed because I'll be clapping the whole time. All right? So again, I'll do a slide. It'll have a picture on it. I'll tell you what, don't clap right away. I'll tell you what the fear is, clap, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so the first one's kind of a warm up. Okay, fear of junior high. Fear of junior high. Okay, evidently I also had a fear of shampoo, the dentist, and style. But I will tell you, not to brag, but women feared me. Mostly that I would sit next to them during class. But nonetheless, they were afraid. Okay, this one here. Now, this one's going to take a little thinking. So this is the fear of having your credit card denied on Black Friday with an angry mob behind you. All right. For a minute there, I thought I was going to be the only guy that experienced that. I feared that. Now, good. So those are our warm-ups. So here we go. We're going to get started now. This one is the fear of public speaking. Clap if that's yours. All right. Psychology Today lists the fear of public speaking as the number one fear most people have, even greater than the fear of death. Okay? Which means you'd rather be in the casket than the guy giving the eulogy. Okay. Okay, I'm glad you clapped, but it was the fear of two-wheel vehicles. I don't know if you know. Yeah, this one's the fear of heights, so clap again if that's one good. Okay, some websites have acrophobia as high as number 3. So acrophobia is the fear of heights. So if that's your fear, you're not alone. Fear of clowns. Clap if you have a fear of clowns. Okay, those that clap, how many of you actually had a clown at one of your birthday parties? Nobody. Okay. I will tell you this, if you did, it's more than likely it wasn't your mom that decided having a clown at a kid's birthday party would be great. It's either your dad or some crazy uncle that would do that. Fear of technology in the classroom, you don't have to clap on this one, okay? But this is going to be our first opponent next season, and so I just wanted to put that up there for you. Fear of snakes. Okay, fear of snakes ranks as high as number 2 on most common phobias. Okay, now I know for some of you, you're looking and you're going like, dang, I didn't know snakes came in turquoise. Okay, but those of us that have a fear of snakes, that thing was real. Okay, I don't do snakes. For me, it's my biggest fear of all time that I have. I can't even really explain how afraid of a snake I am, okay? I can be at San Diego Zoo, walking by the snake cages. They're behind glass, okay? But in my head, I'm thinking, some way, somehow, they're gonna break the matrix, and then they're just going to come right out through the glass and then get me. Okay? So I know they can sense my fear. Like when I walk by them, they know I'm afraid, so they'll do one of these things. Like that, with their head. I'll jump 4 feet back. And I don't know, and I'm not a science guy. But I think they were laughing. Right? I'm not sure if that's real, but... and then this thing about people having a pet snake, that's bogus. Okay? All right. When was the last time you saw a snake fetch a ball? How many of you have ever seen someone walking their snake with a leash on down the street? No one does. Or how about this? How many times do you hear the grandfather say, hey, honey, the grandkids are coming. Let's pull out the boa constrictors. Okay? So that to me is just, I don't do snakes, man. So I was going through a dry run with our team, and I was telling them how I was going to do a talk on teachers overcoming their fear of technology in the classroom. And so one of the people, Dr. Kong, said, hey, if you are so afraid of snakes, why don't you have someone bring a snake, and then you reach in the bucket, hold it up, and put it down, and then you could show everyone that you overcame your fear of snakes, and he said it'll be really powerful. So I said, oh, I could easily do that, but we don't have a snake. Now, in my head, I'm saying, nobody in this department better have a snake. Okay? So I'm like, okay, I'm safe. Until Jesse pops up and says, oh, I have a snake. You can use it. So today, I'm going to pick up a snake. Okay? But Don't start yet. So I thought, okay, if I do it, maybe that'll fire up the team to overcome their fear. So that's Jesse's snake. Jesse's going to come out now with her snake. I'll be over here. You can go right over there. Yeah, that's good. A little bit closer that way. Okay. So Jessie brought her snake today. She says it's a pet snake. Now when you do that, its head's not going to like pop up or anything like that. Okay. Good. Okay. Is he in there? That's good. All right, so he's going up the side of the thing, yeah? Okay. He's not like upset or anything, is he? All right. Now he's good with other people picking him up. Maybe someone that looks like a colonel from somewhere. I didn't mention it. I did not mention it. Okay. All right. Yes, you would. Do you have a name? Zulu. Nice friendly name. Okay. So when I go in there, I grab them by the neck. They have necks? I don't know. And then the other hand, I grab the body. Right behind the head. He's supposed to be hissing like that. I don't know, man. That's like, okay. Has he ever been at San Diego Zoo? Okay. All right. Okay, on 3.5. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, all right. Well, you can just leave it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, man, for doing that. That was amazing. It's just a rubber snake. Okay. Now. Thank you. Yeah. No fear, rubber snakes are right here. This guy right here. Okay, now, the thing is this. Like I said, it's just a rubber snake. But because I built it up so much, and I went through all the antics of being afraid, we actually believed that there was a live snake in that bucket. Okay? And that I was going to be dumb enough to stick my hands in a bucket with a live snake that bites. Is crazy. All right? But sometimes that's how fear is. Fear will make you think that it is so real that it will stop you in your tracks. So sometimes fear is just a rubber snake. Okay? And today when you leave, on the way out of the tables out there, I went and I got all of you a rubber snake. Okay? All right. Well, it's more like a rubber worm because it was too expensive to buy everybody that one. Okay? All right. So I just want you to have that as a reminder of hey, sometimes fear is just a rubber snake. Okay? So, we need to know our opponent. And so our opponent is fear. So what do we know about fear other than it's a rubber snake? Okay? What makes fear so powerful that it will stop us like that? So I came up with 3 characteristics of fear that I think that distracts us from moving forward. The first one is this: fear is a liar. Okay? And it will do anything and everything to keep that fear alive. It loves to get into your head and mess with you. It will blow up fear so big that it appears to be real and stops you from moving forward. It will drop little thoughts like, hey, you're not tech savvy enough. Or it will say, hey, your kids are going to be out of control. Or they're going to go to inappropriate sites. Or, hey, your degree is world languages. You're not technology. Okay? Or the Wi-Fi won't work. But probably the biggest lie that fear tells us is that your students will see you fail with technology in your classroom. Okay? So that is one thing that I know fear is. He's going to lie to us the whole time. We also know that fear is a thief. Okay? It will rob students of the opportunity to do some amazing things with technology, but because of the teacher's fear, we won't be able to. Take a moment and think of the things students are doing now that they couldn't even possibly have done 5 or 10 years ago. Okay, you're done talking. Nice. All right. It gave me a time to get a sip of water, so I appreciate that. Jeff Jambritz. Is Jeff here? No. Okay. I Poly had a couple of students to show that they knew the material, designed a weekly broadcast on environmental issues, and also had a sports section talking about the environmental issues that affect sports. Alex Epstein, is Alex here? Okay. He's at Earhart. He designed a Pokemon Go game using several apps to help students review math concepts in an outdoor setting. We also have Christy Dunn. Christy here? Okay, I picked 3 people that aren't here. Okay, she's a first grade teacher at Kennedy. She taught her kids to write block code and then use SpiroBots to move on the path they created in code. These are just a few of the many things that teachers across the district are doing with technology. But we want all kids to have that same opportunity with all teachers. Okay, we know this: fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. Right? Fear is a killer of creativity, motivation, and excitement. Okay, think back. When was the last time you had a student come to you and say, Mr. Morris, which would be weird because you're not even Mr. Morris, okay? Yeah. So he said, hey, Mr. Morris, I gotta tell you, man, page 58 in the textbook changed my life. Anybody? About 248? No page number, doesn't matter. Okay, not one kid. See, kids dream of having an interactive classroom technology that lets them be creators of content and not consumer of content. That's what they're looking for now. That dream can be taken away by a teacher's reluctance to use technology in the classroom. Psych, that's just a slide. All right, keep you alive here. Okay, so we know our fear is our opponent. Okay, so it lies, it cheats, it steals, it kills dreams. But even after all of what we know that what fear can do, we still hold fear's destiny in our hands. You see, fear is 100% dependent on us to survive. If we don't feed the fear, it won't survive. Okay, I'll say it again. If we don't, then you'll say amen. Okay, if we don't feed the fear, it won't survive. Oh, bring it. Okay, all right. So here's what we need to do is we need to find some skills that our newest members that will help them achieve and have success in their classroom with technology. Okay, the first one, change your outlook on fear. You have two choices. You can see fear as forget everything and run, or you can see it as face everything and rise. Okay, we all know during the announcements, remember school? Okay, that was like Thursday, all right? And so then they did the announcements, and then they would say, have a good day or not. The choice is yours. All right, anybody? Okay. All right, and you're like, no, I don't think I'm going to make it a good day. Right? But that applies here too. So the choice is yours. You can see fear in two different lights. The other thing too is focus on what you want and not what is holding you back. Find out what it is that you want happening in your classroom and then focus on that. If you want your kids creating, collaborating, communicating, and thinking critically, technology can be an incredible tool to make all of that happen. So focus on that and not what's holding you back. Give yourself permission to fail. Want to make yourself real to your students? Fail in front of them. Okay? Hey, we tell students all the time, hey, that learning comes from our failures. Why not hold us to that same standard? Well, I had an app fail during a lesson. I mean, it was bad. And I'm like sweating bullets, and I'm up there, and I'm like, dang, man, I don't know how this is going to work. And then the kids are all looking at me like 35, not eyes, that'd be like 70, because I was a math teacher. So there was like 70 eyes looking at me, and like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, your guess is probably as good as mine. All right? And then one kid in the back never spoke the whole semester. He gets up, he says, Mr. Morris, I think I could fix that. And I said, man, come on now. And he comes up, and he goes on my computer. He does some amazing stuff. The screen goes black, these green things all come across, and then my app comes up, and he looks at me and he goes, Mr. Morris, it's working now. Oh, and you have free Netflix. Yeah? All right, so, hey, feel free to fail in front of him. All right. So let's not fear the failure to have that in front of our classroom. Okay? Celebrate the small victories. Okay? That was the science people laughing right there. Sometimes these small victories are they're the only things that keep us going. Hey, it might be the only thing that worked that day was the Wi-Fi. All right? So celebrate those little small victories, because after a while, those small victories will just pile up and make one huge victory for you and your students. Okay. First, we need to work with our veterans and things like that. So first, we need to remember we all have some kind of fears of our own, as we learned earlier today. So when you were clapping, you had your fears. Like for me, we know it's snakes. That feeling I get around snakes could very well be the same feeling teachers get when technology is introduced in their classroom. Here are 4 things as veterans on the team that we can do to lower the fear of our newest members. 1, let's meet them where they're at. We don't need to get all overzealous and show them like these really awesome things and just like start just regurgitating all these things at them. Let's not put them in a situation where the outcome is going to be unpleasant. So I want you to watch this next clip, okay? And I want you to watch the look on Harrison Ford's face and what the dude at the top of the pit said. Okay, those are the 2. Okay. We don't want our team members to have that kind of experience or that look on their face, and we just come along going, told you it'd be all right? We need to put them in situations where the outcomes will be very positive and a great learning experience for them. For example, first of all, I don't know why that guy's barefooted. I don't know if you caught that. I don't know why there's a thing of snakes. Is there a thing of snakes right up there? Okay. Okay? If you were to come into my classroom and said, Steve, I'm going to help you get over your fear of snakes. So what I did is I brought a box of snakes. So you will feel more comfortable with snakes. Okay, that's ridiculous. Okay? Number one, I'm on the outside of the classroom now looking in as you're talking to me. All right? But we will roll one of these into a teacher's classroom and say, give it a try, you'll love it. Okay? This might as well be a box of snakes for that teacher because it's going to have the same outcome. A Chromebook cart coming into a teacher's classroom is like a box of snakes coming into my room. Different fear, but just as real. Let's look for ways that we can use their own personal laptop in the classroom before we throw Chromebooks at it. Okay? How about we start small with apps and websites that teachers can use that help with classroom management? At a website like classroomscreen.com, where they can have a timer, they can have a noise level gauge, they could have a visual of what the students should be doing, and then they could have a red light, green light, and what color did I miss? Thank you. All right? So evidently I don't really see those when I'm driving my car. All right. We can use those as cues of what we want the students to do. Very simple, easy to use, only the teacher needs it, and it's free, okay? But that right there is a great first step, okay? Number 2, recommend possible trainings and actually go with them. I will pick up the sub fees on that. Not really, because I'll be gone. But just tell them Steve said that somewhere along the way there'd be some sub fees there. We know that knowledge is power. So if we can get them going to trainings, that's going to alleviate some of that fear. So here's some facts of a recent study that you see up here. 90% of teachers, when they surveyed them, thought it was important for classroom, felt technology was important for classroom success. So 90% of all teachers, and they just didn't go right to technology teachers, okay? 66% of them said they need more training in integrating technology in their classroom, and then 38% of teachers learned about technology on their own. I'm going to assume there's a lot of 38%ers in this class right here, in this auditorium, that are using your own time to further your technology knowledge. So, those teachers that might fear using technology in the classroom, they still feel that it's important because it's going to have some successful outcomes. Their fear comes from not knowing. Okay? ILE this year did over 100 trainings for more than 1,500 teachers on integrating technology into the classroom. 98% of those teachers found real value in the trainings, and 97% of those teachers, those same teachers, would recommend the training to other teachers. There's a 1% difference between those. I'm sure those are the ones that went to my trainings. So if you take them to an ILE training next year, almost guaranteed, they will leave feeling a little more empowered and a little less fearful. I can use this. It's from Popeyes. You gotta read the box, all right? All right, be that emotional support person for that person. Now, you remember when you would go to a training and you and your buddy went, but your buddy knew a little bit more than you did? You remember how comforting it was to be able to have that guy there and ask those questions and stuff so you didn't have to like raise your hand in front of everybody? Okay? That's how it is with our new ones. So by going with them, they have the support they need to be successful. Help them recognize the rubber snakes. So here's what teachers fear. If you talk to them about technology, they do this. The internet will go down, or the kids will be out of control, or it's too complicated. Okay, all of these are rubber snakes. And you gotta remember that rubber snakes are fears that just appear real but aren't really real. Okay? So, teachers might say this. What if the internet goes down? Okay, newsflash. It's not if, it's when. Okay? So it's gonna go down. I did a workshop at the CUBE conference with over 200 teachers. And you got to remember that this is a tech conference. So of all places, you would think that definitely would have internet access would be at a tech conference. Okay, this was my slide presentation. 36 slides of this. All right? Luckily, I had opened my slide deck on my desktop, but all of my links, that's all I ever got. Okay? Raise your hand if you were doing a lesson and the Wi-Fi just left. Raise your hand. Okay. It's just about everybody in here. Okay? So it's going to happen. So you need to teach your members to have a backup plan. And it can be something as easy as this. Tell them beforehand, have a page in the textbook ready to go if the internet goes down. Okay? Real easy. They don't have to make a whole new lesson and have all this other. There's a good chance the internet isn't going to go down. It's just a small percentage, right? Harwood? Hopefully. Okay? So that's one way that we can do. And the thing to remember is when we're working with new members as veterans, we need to think back to when we were there and the fears that we have, and we need to take the real simple steps. Okay? All right. Students will be out of control. Okay? Newsflash here, too. They already are. Technology isn't going to change that, all right? So, just like a lot of things that we do in class, we have to model the behavior we want. Okay? Share some of your procedures with them. Show them the simple things that you do in the classroom that helps organize your technology so it's not all over the place. Maybe if you take them to that classroomscreen.com website, maybe they can use the red light, green light, and yellow light. So the red light could be your Chromebooks are closed completely, and you're looking at me. It could be you have the yellow light means they're at a 45-degree angle. I just have something I need to tell you, so just look up here and I'll let you get back. And then a green light is, hey, we're going to have that screen open wide and you guys are on your Chromebooks. Okay? So it's the little things like those kind of things that will help lower the anxiety of using technology in the classroom. Okay. Sometimes we make things just too complicated. Okay? Hey, you want to know, and this is, I'm talking as a math guy. Hey, you want to know how to tell if a number is negative? There'll be a little number, a little negative sign in front of the number, all right? You don't need to write code to figure out what is a negative number, okay? So we discussed about going to training, so that's going to be a help there, okay? Because those trainings and the staff developers that we have in ILE are incredible at making what might seem difficult, easy. Okay? So take them to those trainings. But they need to remember that they aren't teaching technology, they're using technology to teach. Okay, I'll say that again. They aren't teaching technology, they're using technology to teach. So if they assign the class to do a presentation, there's a pretty good chance that all of those kids in that class know how to do a Google slide presentation. Okay? So all the teacher needs to do is just give the parameters of what that presentation should be. Okay? So see, they're using technology to teach, but without teaching the technology. And that's really important to know. Because sometimes teachers, we all do this, oh, it's another one thing that we got to do now. Now we got to teach technology to the kids. And it's not necessarily that way. Number 4, take a leadership role. Okay? Start looking at opportunities to stretch yourself at your site. Talk with your administrator about possibly doing some trainings at your site. Or really stretch yourself and start presenting at some of the conferences on what you're doing in your classroom. Also, take it upon yourself to find a teacher or two at your site that wants to start integrating technology into your classroom. Spend time with them. Offer them tips and trips. That is a really expensive way. I would usually go with tricks. That's not as expensive. On YouTube, it's tricks. All right? All right? Or drop by their classroom when they're using technology for the first time. Okay? That probably on secondary, that probably works a little bit better because you could go on your conference period. Elementary, I don't have anything for you. Okay. So, and then on a side note, I know we all have 2 students like that in our classroom. Okay, how about this one? Hey, how about doing that? Techo Tuesday. All right? So do a Techo Tuesday for anyone on campus who wants to know the latest and greatest on EdTech in 15 minutes or less. Okay? People will go to things that are 15 minutes long and there's food. Okay? So I would suggest chips and salsa, nice easy way to do that, but you'll get them there. So make it fast-paced and a fun event. You want people leaving there thinking, that technology is pretty cool. I could see my class using it, and I could see myself using it, okay? So we know that in 15 minutes, there's no way you're going to be able to tell them how it works. That's not the goal of Techo Tuesday, okay? When you go to Taco Tuesday, you're not like going thinking, I hope we discuss business. No, man, we're going there to enjoy it, have a good time, have some tacos and those other drinks. But the nice part about this is you're going to get teachers coming up to you at the end saying, hey, how does that work in the classroom? Can you show us? Now you've got an opportunity to do a training later on. All you need now is just give a date. Okay. So we looked at 4 things that we could do as veterans on the team. We could meet our members at their level. We could take them to trainings. We could help them recognize the rubber snakes. And remember, rubber snakes are just fears that appear real but really aren't. And then take more of a leadership role at our school. So what did we learn today? We learned that we're a team and together as a team we're stronger. We looked at our game plan. We recognized that our opponent is fear, and we looked at 3 different characteristics of fear. We looked at skills that our newest members can attain to overcome fear and in their classroom. And lastly, we as veterans on the team, what we can do to uplift and empower those who might be reluctant to integrate technology in their classroom. Okay. All right. So I'd like to end with a story and a song. I will not be singing. It will actually be up here. Okay? But before I do, I'd like to have ILE come to the stage. Also, you know, you go to the movies, and then when you're at the movies, you leave just at the middle of the credits, and then later on, your buddy comes and says, wow, man, did you see what happened at the end of the credits? And you're like, no. Okay? And now you feel like you missed out on something. So there are a few slides at the very end that we want you to see before you leave and run out the door to get that rubber snake. So you can move like, that's not real, remember? So you can kind of move up so they can kind of see you. Okay, so there's going to be something that goes with this in there. Okay? So, here's the story. I'm going to read it just so I don't miss anything. So, one day on the plains of Africa, a young buffalo named Walter. I'm in Africa. What's your name? Walter. Okay. So, Walter approached his dad and asked him if there anything he should be afraid of. Only lions, my son, his dad responded. Oh yes, I've heard about lions. If I ever see one, I'll turn and run as fast as I can, said Walter. No, that's the worst thing you can do, said his dad. Why? They're scary and they will try to kill you. The dad smiled and explained. Walter, if you run away, the lions will chase you and catch you. And when they do, they will jump on your unprotected back and bring you down. So what should I do, said Walter. If you ever see a lion, stand your ground to show him that you're not afraid. If he doesn't move away, show him your sharp horns and stomp the ground with your hooves. If that doesn't work, move slowly towards him. If that doesn't work, charge him and hit him with everything you got. Walter said, that's crazy. I'm too scared to do that. What if he attacks back? His dad said, look around, Walter. What do you see? So Walter looked around and he saw the rest of the herd, about 200 massive buffalo, all armed with sharp horns and huge shoulders. If you're ever afraid, know that we are here. If you panic and run from your fears, we can't save you. But if you charge towards them, we'll be right behind you. The young buffalo breathed deeply and nodded. Thanks, Dad. I think I understand. See, we all have lions in our world. There are aspects of life that scare us and make us want to run. But if we do, they will chase us down and take our lives. Our thoughts will become dominated by things that we are afraid of, and our actions will become timid and cautious, not allowing us to reach our full potential. So face your fears. Show them that you're not afraid. Show them how powerful you really are, and run towards them with courage and boldness, knowing that we are supporting you and cheering you on. Okay. These people right here, this is your herd. Okay? These guys here have got your back. Whatever it is that you need, these guys are there for you. We have down at the end, we have Crystal and Jesse and Ari. Right there. Okay. Those are our staff developers. They're the ones that are going to do some incredible trainings next year to help you and others. Okay. These other two, you might know their voice, but you've never seen their face. They're like being on radio. Okay? It's Carolina and Sylvia. If there's any issues that you have, these are the two ladies that are going to carry you through it. Both of them incredibly positive people until they hang up the phone. But no, just kidding. Just kidding. All right. And then we got Tina. Tina is the one that arranges everything for us and those kinds of things and gets our rooms for us for our training. All right. We have some incredible leaders. We have Steve Harwood, Steve Kong, Steve Dunlap. Okay. Steve Dunlap is not here with us today on my very important day. He's on vacation. All right. And those of you that don't know, newly, Dr. Steve. known around the office as the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther Kong. Okay, you also see up there two other people who are no longer with ILA and they're greatly missed. That's That's Karen Sanchez and Christian Sorensen. A lot of you know Karen. She is the one responsible for bringing Google Expeditions to Riverside, along with virtual reality, and we think she's gone on to be assistant principal at Franklin, and we wish her well. That's Karen right there in the front row. And then Christian was with our department. He's the one that started personalized learning from the ground floor and worked with all of us, and so he's also greatly missed. Okay. Thank you guys. Or you can stay. Yeah, it's already been thundered. All right, thank you. All right, so I'm going to leave you with the song. So I'll just be right over here, and then there's a couple slides after. But I think if you listen to the song and the words of it, they're awesome, they're powerful.
Fear you don't own me, there ain't no room in this story, and I ain't got time for you telling me what I'm not, like you know me. Well, guess what? I know who I know I'm strong, and I'm free, got my own identity, so fear you will never be welcome here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is really a special moment for me, and I really appreciate all that Riverside has given me and the opportunity to work with some of the best teachers in all of Southern California. Okay, California, the U.S. Okay. And then so I got this really planned out. Is there someone that's going to say anything? Oh yeah. So it was at the very beginning. And then this one right here, this is where you guys will need to go. And Con, go ahead and take it. They've heard enough from me.
So if we could give Morris a round of applause. So on behalf of our department, we really want to thank you guys for taking time off your busy summer break to spend the day of learning with us. Please use the hashtag RUSDLearns on social media to share any insights that you're getting today. And if you can head to your first session. So thank you guys so much.